Well, sleep trackers have exploded in popularity in recent years. While they can be useful tools, there are some things that you should know before you invest in a new device. So let's bring in Andrew Holmes from Sleep Efficiency to tell us more. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, these are all the rage, and I was telling you, like, I'm all blinged out with my sleep trackers, but what do we need to know about sleep trackers?
So first of all, there's over 100 different types that have actually hit the market now. And you kind of break them down into two different sections. You've got the apps on your phone, and then you've got the wearables.
Okay.
The apps you can pretty much dismiss right away. They're really just recording like an audio channel, somewhat gimmicky. You know, it's going to tell you that it captured some snoring kind of thing. But the wearables have actually improved tremendously. Rewind about 10 years ago when the Fitbit first came on, they were just basing it on body movement, which is called actigraphy. So the notion there was, you know, you haven't moved in 2 or 3 hours, it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to say that you're pretty much awake. What we've done now is been able to kind of move into the Apple Watches, the Oura Rings, those are the most popular ones, and they're actually able to capture a lot more than what was once thought. We've got here the...
All right, let's move on and tell us what they can and can't tell you.
What they can and can't tell you, exactly. So the Oura Rings and the Apple Watches as the most prominent ones, ultimately they're pulling all of these different metrics, all of these different channels. They're looking at oxygen levels, they're looking at heart rate, they're looking at heart rate variability, which is the timing in between the beats. They're looking at body temperature, they're looking at sweat secretions. So all of these signals kind of add up and paint a picture with your sleep, not only between sleep and wake, but they're actually able to break down further between your light sleep, deep sleep, and your REM. Where you want to be careful, though, is the accuracy. Now, the Oura Ring, for instance, is one of the champions, the standouts in the space. It has about an 88 to 92% accuracy rate, breaking down not only sleep and wake, but breaking down further into that light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. The Apple Watch, while it has about an 85% accuracy rate between sleep and wake, it can't really differentiate much further beyond light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. The percentages there is only about 50% accuracy rate. So it can distinguish between those two, but when it breaks it down further into those different sleep stages, it can be a bit of a challenge. So you have to be careful. You know, often it's overestimating in some areas and underestimating in the others.
All right, well, let's keep on moving and learn more about when sleep data can become an issue.
Right. Well, we become kind of a data-obsessed society now. And I'd say it's becoming an issue if you're waking up first thing in the morning and the first thing you do is look to your sleep score.
Okay.
If you're looking at that score and that score is basically telling you how you're supposed to feel for the day, that's probably an issue. If you're saying the day's a write-off because I got a lousy sleep score, you know, that's becoming a little bit too much. There's actually something called orthosomnia now, which, and we've talked about on the show, just to touch on it briefly, it's the inability to fall asleep and or stay asleep due to fear and anxiety of achieving optimal sleep induced by sleep tracking devices.
Okay.
So when you start obsessing over it and you're relying on that device to tell you how you feel throughout the day, I'd say that's probably an issue.
Okay, good advice. And last point you say is how to use them the right way.
The right way. So I would look at this as more of a lifestyle tool.
Okay.
You don't want to focus on the morning headlines. I would say look at the weekly trends.
Okay.
You know, just like if you were on a weight loss program, you wouldn't get on the scale every single morning.
Right.
You'd probably look at it on a weekly or a monthly basis. So you can use these trackers and these wearables, specifically the wearables, to kind of influence your lifestyle habits and changes. You know, use it as proper sleep hygiene guiding techniques. That would be the best thing. Keep in mind, it's not a diagnostic tool. At Sleep Efficiency, we actually offer home-based sleep tests. So if there's an issue, if there's constant fatigue, if there's chronic snoring, we can do a clinically validated test. So, you know, it can show some insights, but ultimately, if the sleep problem still persists and you're noticing dips over time, then maybe a diagnostic test from Sleep Efficiency would probably be the way to go.
Wonderful. What's the best way to reach you?
Sleepefficiency.ca. Patients can self-refer. We have these devices being delivered to your front door, reviewed by a respirologist. So these are a great tool to have, but again, don't place too much weight on the accuracy, especially depending on which one you're using, because there is a lot of discrepancy sometimes depending on the actual tool.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning and breaking it all down.
Thank you so much.